Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fabric Tech Talk Fridays. I'm your host, Patrick LeBlanc, and I'm here, my buddy. This is my buddy. This is my buddy, John. John, before we get into this, why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm John White. I'm chief data architect at AvePoint.
Chief Data Architect,
Microsoft MVP is
Microsoft
yeah,
MVP, all the things. You're all the
all
things.
the things.
Okay, so John, you and I have been talking about data, I don't know, for a long, long time, and you just told me you're creating something. I didn't know you were a creator.
No,
that.
it's not me. It's
Oh, okay, okay.
my team's here.
Oh, your team. Okay, there. It's a good team. So tell us about it.
So basically, I'll talk a little bit about what AvePoint
Okay.
does.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And that's kind of the mission statement.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, AvePoint lives on data, right? It sits on top of customer data.
Sure.
What kind of data? It's basically anything the customer has in Microsoft 365, Azure, Power Platform, etc. And what AvePoint does is bring governance and reporting and archival. It's basically data protection.
Got it.
Getting you ready for AI.
Okay. All right. And so, but now you're gonna take it a step further.
Yeah. So what we're building here is AvePoint has a number of products that do this, but they're all doing similar things and collecting up this data at the back end.
Okay.
And I had a company called Tygraph that AvePoint recently bought, and it exclusively did that and provided reporting on it. Right.
Okay.
So the problem is we have these disparate silos of data and information, and all the products working on it, different speeds, different times. We wanted to bring that all together.
Yep.
And Fabric was just a natural platform to do that with.
Okay. So tell us why and how Fabric was this platform.
Well, we'll get
Get to that.
We'll
Okay.
get that.
Okay, okay.
I want to get into a little bit about what we have to do,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
up on the screen, we need to bring in all of the inventory data from Microsoft 365, so all the stuff from Graph, right?
Yep.
We want it, so that's what you have, and then we want to bring in all of the audit logs, so that's all what you did, right?
Sure.
Exactly. And now we also don't want to just do it for Microsoft 365.
We want to be
We want to support Google. We want to
Yeah, you
support
wanna be
all,
able to-
also we need to support all of the things. So that's a tall order.
Yep.
We work with basically the biggest customers that Microsoft has, so we need to do this at scale and provide complete analytics,
Got it.
point in time, what's going on, all of that stuff.
Yep.
We need to do this without a lot of data lag. In the past, collecting this data, you can imagine for some of these big customers, could literally take weeks.
So you need to do this at scale, efficient, and as fast as possible.
That's right.
Okay.
And we need to support our own products.
Got it.
And they read and write, so we need to have transaction capability.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So fundamentally, when you're looking at the classic data management approaches, we got two to choose from. We got the SQL side of things, sort of, right? And then we've got the big data side,
Yeah, like houses and
analytics,
things,
right?
Yeah.
And they both have their pluses and minuses.
Sure.
And I don't like to make compromises,
Oh,
so we'll just put them all together.
so you just made one house,
Sort of.
right? All the data goes one place.
Sort of. So we made this thing, we're calling it the Data Abstraction Layer. And the idea of data abstraction is that multiple cloud thing. So
Yeah.
all objects that are similar, like sites, etc., they should be handled the same way.
Okay.
But we also need to handle the data to the source, right?
Sure.
The class, because our applications work with that. We even have to write back to the source system sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So the way we work, got a little walkthrough here. You
Yeah.
want to follow the bouncing balls?
Okay.
So let's pick a SharePoint site, for example. So your classic model, you'd run a batch process and pull in the site information. We pull it in through an API. So what we've got is underneath is Fabric.
Right.
That's what I'm calling the data abstraction layer. Here's a little secret. It's mostly Fabric.
It's the one light.
Yeah. So these things over here are connectors that we have running. So we got all these individual connectors to go and pull this data in. And so it comes in through an ingestion API, drops that into a SQL database.
Okay.
Right? So SQL, we know the current state, and we got the schema that it matches in source system.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So,
We can always work with that source schema, right? But then we were using a new tech called change event streaming.
Yep.
You're all up on
I'm up on change.
So we're going to stream those deltas down now into Event House.
Yep.
So we're picking up all of those changes. So we got that historical information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we can bring that data into the semantic model. So we got two things: we got a transactional plan, and we got an analytic.
Yeah, and you incrementally just getting it based on that.
As it happens.
Yeah.
So that's a batch process, right? So here's the difference between transactional and I'll let you read the
Translytical.
one. Not translytical.
Okay.
Not translytical.
Okay.
So of course we'll bring in all kinds of information, not just sites, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And of course from all of the clouds.
Yep.
Right. That's kind of the point there. And that's bringing them in from all the clouds with all the animation. The point here is when we bring them in from all of the clouds, we've got, in SQL, we've got SharePoint sites, we've got Google workspaces, etc. But they all become, say, workspaces at the end of the day. So we have these abstracted versions of these same objects. That's down at the event house layer, or down at the analytical layer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm listening.
I thought so.
I'm consuming right now. I'm consuming in process. I'm like an AI agent right now.
Yeah. So we can't just hand it. Yeah. So this is sensitive data. We can't just hand this stuff out, right?
You can't.
No, we cannot. So we get requests come in. We've also got a consumption API. And part of that consumption API is a privacy and permissions. So that's RBAC plus privacy information.
Sure.
So, GDPR compliance,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So basically, we have to pass everything through a privacy permission layer. Depending on the nature of the query, we'll target different destinations, etc.
And this is completely agnostic. It doesn't matter.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Eh?
Okay, keep going. Keep
So-
going.
All right, so we got the batch process.
Yep.
So here's the secret sauce here. We also have a continuous process. So we're watching the audit log in this case, right? So as audit events are happening, they raise events, we're watching for those events, right? We're listening. We're streaming the audit events straight down into Event House because we don't need to keep the current state of that, right?
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, if we see specific events, edits, deletes, adds, right?
You get it.
We go and get it from Graph or we pick it up from the stream, depending on whether or not that's supported. And we pump that right straight through that original pipeline through SQL. So we've got what you did
And
and when you did it. Yeah, when you did it, and we've got the updated current state. So our products, I'm gonna whip through it because I know we're sensitive on time. That's our DAO. That's our data abstraction layer. So our products can sit on top of that or the various services, and they can work with that. So we've got an application that needs to update some metadata. That can reach out both to the source system and our DAO, keep it updated, right? Follow the system through, and write it back however we need to write it back.
And it's remarkable because once you have that initial, right, it's just constantly.
Keeps running. So we need to do an initial batch.
Yeah, of course.
Technically, we don't have to do an additional batch. If we just run the continuous connect, we'll only have what's changed.
But
But yeah, we want to do an additional batch. We can also run that batch for true ups.
so you can initialize it or not initialize.
Correct. Yeah, you want to initialize.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay.
It's not required. So yeah, I'm just going to run through most of these this other bit. So you asked me the question, why Fabric?
Yeah. All right. We finally got to it, boy. What is earning?
Slide
What
for
is
that,
earning?
right?
Yeah.
So what do we put where, basically, right? So we our asset data, right? That goes into our current state data, right?
Yep.
But that also flows through the analytics, so that has to go there. Audit stuff that goes straight into the event house because whatever, right?
Yeah.
But we use that to trigger the updates, right? The medallion layers are lower level layers. They've got the abstraction for us, so we can query into that and say, I want to see all agents across all clouds.
Across all the
correct?
clouds that I have.
So what ticks all those boxes?
Fabric.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good platform.
Wow. That's a good one. That's a good way to end too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
ticks all the boxes. Fabric does. All right. Thank you so much, John, for
pleasure,
taking the
man.
time.
It was a
and your
treat.
team. Thank you for having your team here.
Thanks.
And as all, if you have any questions, comments, do post in the comments below. And as always, from Microsoft, John, nice guy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Friday.
Cheers.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget, hit that like button.
If this is your first time visiting the Microsoft Fabric YouTube channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button.
Drop a comment below on what you'd like to see on future episodes of Fabric Tech Talk Fridays.
That's it for today. See you all next Friday for another deep dive into Microsoft Fabric.